I'm going to say it again. Make sure you have a blanket. Oliver's on my blanket. Just a little blanket or even a towel if you have a thick towel that you can fold up a couple of times if needed. And we usually use our strap. And today I have this ball. It's actually Oliver's. It's got spikes all over it. I'm going to try this out for foot massage, but any kind of small ball that you have handy for foot massage will be great. So we'll start seated today and just gathering some presence, just bringing consciousness into the body by feeling your sits bones, whatever's underneath them. So if you're sitting on a block or a chair or the blanket or the floor, just feeling the weight of your body as it starts to settle into the support. And with your exhale, every time you exhale, just let your body get a little bit heavier. And as you arrive with your consciousness, with your intention and your attention, as you arrive, begin to widen your senses, start to feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice any sounds that you might hear besides my voice. You might notice your own sounds around you in your home or wherever you're practicing. Are there any smells? If your eyes are closed, perhaps you can sense the light coming in through the eyelids, and what direction is that light coming from? And practicing pratyahara, which is drawing the senses inward now, begin to notice the quality of your breath without changing it. Just start to notice the length of your breath, where you feel it in your body as you inhale. As you exhale, notice the parts of your body that relax and release. So as you continue to become more present through awareness, through breath, I'll start with a reading this morning from our Siddur. Praise God in the depths of the universe. Praise God in the human heart. Praise God for power and beauty, for all feeling fathomless love. Praise God with drums and trumpets, with string quartets and guitars. Praise God in market and workplace, with computer, with hammer and nails. Praise God in bedroom and kitchen. Praise God with pots and pans. Praise God in the temple of the present. Let every breath be God's praise. Praise God in the temple of the present. Let every breath be God's praise. Baruch atah Adonai asher beyado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol besar ish. So I wanted to start with this reading today, this prayer, because it goes hand in hand with something that I just remembered that our beloved Rabbi Shanks said during a podcast, it was a recent podcast, I think it had to do with COVID and how to live our lives in this really challenging time, if I remember correctly. But she said this one sentence that I wrote down and thought, this is so brilliant, as always, with Rabbi Shanks. She said, when you can't go far, go deep. And I have forgotten the exact context she was speaking in, but I remember the wisdom was very resonant for me. When you can't go far, go deep. And so this prayer, I feel like, reflects all the ways that we can go deep in our gratitude. We can go deep in our praise of creation. We can find all these ways through the mundane to the extra special, extra holy things. We can go deep with anything. Anything can be a portal into gratitude and praise. So I thought we could play with this wisdom with some of our yoga poses. When we can't go as far as we want with them, if our bodies won't do what we would like them to do, it's okay, because we can go deep. And the way we go deep is through our intention, wanting to go deeper in quality with our movements and our breath, and with our attention, really putting all of our attention on what we're feeling, watching how it changes, feeling how it opens, how it contracts. So bringing our intention deeply into our asana, and our attention to our asana, and practicing teshuvah. So when we start to let our attention float off somewhere else, like to the groceries we need to get, or to the Zoom call we need to, make, we can practice teshuvah and come back to our attention to the present moment. As the prayer says, praise God in the temple of the present. So that's no accident. That's one of the last sentences. The present moment is where it's at, and that's where we can go deep and find the treasures that life has to offer us. So we can do that right here on the mat. So I'm going to invite you to go deep with me today. We're going to start with some warm-up. So you'll have your strap near you and your block. Let's go ahead and come onto our backs, and we'll open up the hamstrings for some standing poses. So using a strap, we'll just bring it around the right foot. And as we often do, we'll just slide our shoulders down the back. Keep your elbows on the floor. And your left knee can be bent or it can be straight, depending on how your hamstrings feel and how your lower back feels. And we'll just start to feel the hamstring. How far can you bring your leg toward your body? And when you find the edge of where the leg wants to stop, then you stop there and you go deep. You go deep with your breath, your attention to sensation. Go deep with stillness as you hold the strap, and let the muscle tissue begin to soften and release. Keep your right foot flexed so your toes are pointed toward your face. And take a few more breaths. As you're holding the straps and flexing your foot, I'd like you to shift your right hip down toward the front of your mat so that your frontal hip bone moves away from your lower part of your right rib cage. So you're creating length in your waist on the right side. As you do that, you may notice that the stretch changes. You can keep the straps just as they are, or you can take them into your left hand. We're going to just move the right leg across the body just a little bit until you feel an outer side of the leg stretch. Keeping the foot flexed will help really isolate the side of the leg, the IT band, the gluteal muscles, maybe even the calf. And breathe here. Good. Bring the leg back to center. You'll release your strap now. And we'll take a figure 4 stretch on this side. So that same, we're working with the same leg. So cross your right ankle over your left thigh or knee. Some of you, and your left foot's on the floor to start. So some of you, this might already be enough of a stretch in your right hip. For others, you might want to lift the left foot off the floor and hold on to the back of your leg. You can interlace your hands, or you can bring a strap around your thigh to give you a little extra reach. But flex both feet and think about pressing your right knee away from you to isolate the outer hip. And just breathe here. Feel all there is to feel in this stretch. Good. Go ahead and release this side. And stretch your legs out now. Just lie flat on the floor. And take a moment to go deep with your attention, noticing any changes between the right leg and the left leg. What are you noticing here? Now keep your left leg straight. So we're going to do a supine tree pose. So your left leg is going to stay straight, but you're going to flex the left foot. It's like you're standing on the ground. So think of how your left foot would make contact with the flat earth. And then bend your right knee, bring your right foot close to your body, and then let your knee open up to the side. So the inside of the right foot might be somewhere on the inside of your left thigh, or maybe your left calf. Wherever it is fine. You might want to put a block under your knee if it's a little intense for your inner thigh. See where your foot wants to land and find a place where you can stay in supine tree pose. Getting a nice gentle stretch on the inner thigh, and then perhaps bringing those arms up overhead. Oops, sorry, Ollie. And reaching your arms back behind you with your fingers spread. Big breath, so filling up the front of the chest and belly. Good. Now go ahead and bring your hands back down and bring your knee back in. And then just take your left hand and guide your right knee across your body and take a nice gentle stretch, just a little twist here. You might open your arms up back to a T position. Don't worry about going far with this stretch. Don't worry about coming into a really intense torquing of the lower back. Your knee can be floating in space there, or you can put a block underneath it. Take a few breaths here. Praise God in each and every twist. Pull your navel in so you're engaging your core as you bring your leg back up. And now we're going to change sides. We're going to start over. We're going to bring the strap around the bottom of the left foot. Deciding what you're going to do with your right leg. And then repositioning your shoulder blades so they're flat on the floor and your heart is open, so you kind of squeeze your shoulder blades in toward each other. and rest your elbows on the floor so that you're not reaching. So your arms are fairly relaxed. And just start with awareness. Bring intention to wanting to stretch this side and bringing attention to what's true right now for your body, what's true for this leg. Pointing your toes toward your face, toward your nose. So for such a really simple stretch, it can be easy to let the mind wander. So great opportunity to practice teshuvah, to bring your intention back. Remembering now to shift your left frontal hip bone down away from your rib cage on that left side. As soon as I do that, I feel the stretch much more in my hamstring. What do you notice? And then either keeping the straps as they are or changing hands to the right side, you're going to bring your leg across your body just until you feel a stretch in the outer leg. Press your foot into the strap, so create length in the hip joint and breathe. Come back to center. Release your strap. And we'll take a figure 4 stretch on this side. So cross your left ankle over your right knee or thigh, flexing both feet. Keeping those shoulders down away from your ears. On this side, let's go ahead and do some ankle rotations. Just kind of wake up those feet and ankles. Maybe even pointing and flexing a couple of times. Press your left knee away from you. And then release. Go ahead and straighten both legs once again. Take a moment to really integrate the stretches you just did. Deepening your presence. And then let's take our supine tree pose. So flexing the right foot and really strengthening that right leg. So feeling the quadricep activating. And then bend the left knee and open the left knee out to the side. So your left foot will connect somewhere inside of your right leg. See if you can place it the same as you did on the other side. Just as we would in a standing pose, we want to try to do them the same on each side unless you're working with a specific injury or something chronic that won't allow you to do that. So pressing your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot, just a little bit of isometric tension there. And then reaching your arms overhead if that works for you. Breathing. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Think about those trees that just have, like the oak trees that have these beautiful roots that are, you walk by and they're just showing, their roots are kind of outside of the ground and they're just spreading out and creating all of this base of support so that the upper part of the tree can bloom and stretch and reach. Good. Go ahead and bring your hands back down and then take your right hand and guide your left knee across your body into your gentle stretch here with any support that you might need. And then engage your core and bring your knee back up through center. Good. And stretch out one more time. Reach your arms behind you. Stretch from fingers to toes. Reaching, reaching, reaching. And then start to bring your knees in toward your chest and just give yourself a hug. Rock side to side. Good. And then we're going to turn to our sides and press ourselves up. Leave your neck heavy as you press yourself up. Come to your hands and your knees for cat-cow. So we'll bring the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. You can always come onto the knuckles if you need to, or fingertips if your wrists are sensitive. And just start working your cat and your cow, connecting the movement to your breath, inhaling as that chest opens and exhaling as you round. As you round, if you're rounding, press the ground away from you and spread the shoulder blades apart. Pull your navel in a lot, creating a rainbow shape with your spine. Start to let yourself side bend. You might even lift your feet off the floor and imagine that the feet together are a tail of a dog, and just wag those feet to one side and gaze back at them, and then the other side. Getting a nice side body stretch. The more we can open up the rib cage and those muscles, the more oxygen we can take in. So we really want to take good care of those intercostal muscles. They tend to get stiff as we get older. So we want to keep our rib cage nice and fluid. Good. And then maybe coming back to center and doing some hip circles, just whatever feels good. What does your body need? Wonderful. Okay, so we will use our blanket now. So we're going to take a gate pose. So if you don't have to use your blanket. If you have sensitive knees, it's nice to have. So I'm going to start with my, let's see if I can try to mirror you. So let's bring the left knee to the blanket or to the floor first. If you want more stability, you can curl your toes underneath you, behind you, or you can keep your foot flat on the floor. The right leg's going to come out to the side with the toes pointed up. Okay, and hips are facing forward. And as you inhale, reach your left arm up and over. Let your right arm slide down your leg and reach at a diagonal so that we're not collapsing into the rib cage, but really reaching up and out of it. Reach, reach, reach with your fingertips. Reach like you're just grabbing a star right out of the sky. Good, and come back. Come to both knees. Do some shoulder circles here. And then as you're ready, changing sides. That left leg's gonna come out, toes point straight up. Reaching your arm up. And reaching diagonally over, pull your navel in. And it's common to kind of lean forward in this pose, so we want to think of opening up the heart, rotating the waist upward, and then reaching for that star that's right up there. Keep breathing, and then come back on down. Okay. So you can move your blanket off to the side. For now, we're going to come to stand. Let's do some standing twists. So just opening up the feet and legs and just getting a nice release in the spine, tapping the chest and the lower back. Good. Good, come to center. We'll open the legs a little bit more and we'll bring in our breath of joy. So if you're new to breath of joy, it's 3 inhales. You sniff through your nose and you fill, 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 and then you exhale. So the arms are up, out, up, and then down. If you have lower back issues, don't come all the way down like this. Just kind of throw it between your legs. You can bend your knees a little bit more. Otherwise, you can bend over a bit more. So we're gonna inhale, inhale, inhale. This looks good. Bring in that joy. Let your movement be praise for a breath. Kol ha-Neshamah, just praise for all that breathes. One more. Good. Bring your feet underneath you. Take a moment to find your natural breathing. Kol ha-Neshamah to hallelujah. Just praising God for every living being that breathes. Bringing praise for breath itself, for life. And now let's give our feet some love. We'll give some praise for our feet and give some loving care back. So bringing that ball under the right foot and just giving some attention. Massaging your foot if you're not using a ball today. Just get in there and work any sore points, especially on the inside of the arch of your foot, like right on the edge of the inside. Those are great reflex points to work with your thumbs. Remembering to breathe as you do this. Well, this spiky ball is pretty good, I have to say, and it's probably a lot less expensive if you go to a pet store to get it rather than try to buy it like online as a physical therapy tool. It's exactly the same. All right, let's switch sides. Keep breathing. Good. Okay, you can move your ball off to the side and grab your strap. Just open the arms for a variation in one of our yoga poses. So take your strap and bring it behind your right shoulder. I guess I'll try to mirror you here. Like you're patting yourself on the back. And then reach behind you with your left hand and grab that strap and just start to bring your hands together as much as possible using the strap as support. Watch out for arching of the back. Keep your belly engaged and your rib cage pulled inward so that it's on top of your hips, so that you're not doing this. You're going to pull it in and focus on the arms opening up. So the tricep on the right arm and the shoulder, the front of the shoulder on the left arm. Breathing, reaching that upper elbow up toward the sky and keeping it close to your head. Good. And then slide your hands apart, nice and slow. And then other side. So bringing the strap over your left shoulder, reaching back with your right arm. Keep your belly pulled in this whole time. Start with good upright posture and then work your hands toward each other. Watch out for this upper arm flying out to the side. So we don't want that. We really want to bring it in closer. So if we can't go far, like if we can't bring that arm in, we go deep. So stop wherever you are, wherever you feel a stretch, And just breathe and deepen your experience of the stretch and let go of how far you can go with it. Good. Now slide your hands away from each other. Place your strap off to the side, and we'll do just a nice old school deltoid stretch. So bring your left arm across your body and just hold on to it with your right arm, maybe the crook of your elbow or even your hand. Everyone's built different. And just drop your left shoulder down away from your ear and then pull your arm across your body. So you've got a deltoid stretch here. Keep your knees soft. Good, and then change sides. Shake it out and change sides. Dropping the right shoulder down away from your ear. Good, and then release. Shake that out, shake everything. Breathe. Bounce a little bit. All right, so we'll take our pyramid pose, which we did it a couple of weeks ago. So pyramid pose is a nice deep stretch for your hamstrings, and you'll want to use your blocks for support, or a chair, as I mentioned at the beginning of class, like the seat of a chair is fine to use. So we'll face the long way on our mat, and bring your right foot forward to start, and bring your blocks to the front of your mat. So right foot is forward and left foot is back, but you don't want to have a really wide stance. You want to have your feet fairly close together because you're going to square your hips to the front of your mat, and your back foot's going to stay flat on the floor if possible. So all the toes, for the most part, the back toes almost facing all the way forward. Engage your core, hands on your hips, and just start to hinge forward at your hip crease. And you'll feel the stretch in that right hamstring. And you can use your blocks if you're able to come down to fingertips or hands on the block, or chair if you've got a chair in front of you. Some of you, if you have more open hamstrings today, you might come all the way down with your forehead towards your shin. So you're going to shift that right hip back just a little bit and the left hip forward. So think of squaring your hips once again and breathing. So where can you go deep with this pose, this intense forward fold? How can you deepen the pose, if not physically, energetically? How can you deepen your awareness? We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Keep pulling your belly in. When you rise up, I'd like you to press into both feet and use the support of the ground to help lift you up. You can keep your legs just as they are, but open your stance a little wider. So now we have the front heel bisecting the back arch. That back leg is turned in just a bit, and the legs are both straight. So we're setting ourselves up for a triangle pose, getting into that inner thigh. Blocks are right where you're going to need them. So we're going to reach our arms up. Good, pull the navel in. And then just pivot the arms so that right arm reaches down either towards your shin or a block. Wherever your block is, think of it as an extension of your upper arm, like both arms are one arm. So we don't want to be reaching way out in front of us or underneath, because that will make us fold forward. We really want to have the upper body in a nice flat plane, the hips pressed forward a bit, reaching up, maybe gazing up, but you don't have to. And breathe here. From here, we'll go right into our side angle pose. You can leave your block where it is if you'd like, and bend the front knee, and bring your lower elbow right inside that knee, so you can open up the leg and maybe reach over your ear with the upper arm. Good. And rotate your waist and your heart toward the heavens. Breathe here. Good. Press into both feet and float back up to Warrior Two. And then we're going to walk the feet in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let it all go. Let yourself hang, let the weight of your head go, let your knees be bent if they need to be, and just release the whole back. Release the effort. Good, and then start to come up. So I want you to look up first and reach out to the sides and then up. So coming up with a flat back. Great, you guys look great today. Hands to your heart. So we've got this, the right inner thigh opened, kind of warmed up from triangle. So we're gonna come into our tree pose. So standing on that right foot, come into your tree pose. We did a little supine tree pose, so now we get to do more active tree. So let your arms be wherever you'd like. You can have your branches reaching, or you can have your hands at your heart. Breathe, gaze at something that's not moving. I know many of us are probably on a different surface than a hardwood floor of a yoga studio, so the balance might be more challenging. Press the ground away from you with your leg and think of yourself as rising up, like growing up from the earth. And release. Good, go ahead and shake it out. Okay, let's come to the other side. What did we do first? We did pyramid pose. Okay, so now our left foot is the forward foot. I guess I can face this way still. Blocks are in front, hips are square, back foot is connected to the floor. Start to hinge forward until you feel a stretch. It's really important to keep your belly pulled in and up, so you want to protect your back here. So really try to not round through that lower back. Think of tilting your pelvis forward like you're reaching back behind you with your tailbone. So that's, if you need support so that you don't go as low and the rounding doesn't happen, that's when you would use a chair. Shift your left hip back and your right hip forward just a little bit and breathe. Put a little bend in that front knee and press yourself up to standing. And then open your stance a little bit wider so that your left heel bisects your back arch. Legs are straight, arms are wide. Start to reach out over those front toes and then pivot the arms, finding whatever support you need for your pose. Relaxing the muscles of your face. Softening the breathing. And then bring a bend to that front knee. You might want to open your stance a little more if you need to, and bring that right into a side angle pose. Maybe you'll reach over your head with your right arm, pull the belly in. Good, and then press into both feet and float yourself back up. Very nice, and then walk your feet together and set yourself up for tree pose on this side. So your right leg and right foot are rooted into the ground. Go deep, and then place your foot, hopefully in the same place that you did last time, inside the leg, and find your upper body expression. So what do your arms want to do for this side? Coming home to the breath, practicing teshuvah, returning to the breath. Bring attention back to this moment just as it is, whether it's easy or hard. Good, and release from the side. Go ahead and shake out your standing leg. Do a little prancing in place. Release your ankles. Do some circles. Okay. So we're going to take a little wide stance here, a squat. So the heels point in toward the midline of the body, the toes point out maybe at 10 and 2 if you were standing on a face of a clock. Bring your arms out to the sides. Bring your shoulder blades together. Open up your heart. Face your palms forward. I'm just noticing the energy of this pose, the open quality, the receptivity. Take a moment to bring to mind and to heart something that you gratefully receive, something that you can bring praise to. Good, and then bring your right arm back behind you like we did with the strap, like you're patting yourself on the back with your right arm, and then reach your left arm back behind you. See if you can get your fingertips close together. Keep your squat, and just pause here. And we're just gonna pulse. We're gonna breathe in and out. Stretching those arms, reaching that elbow nice and high, just really strengthening the body and creating energy in the body. Pausing in your squat, releasing the arms, reach out again, and then change sides. So other elbow reaches to the sky, other hand reaches back behind you. So you might find that your rib cage kind of wants to flare with this. So pull your rib cage in and just pulse, root down and reach up with the breath. Good. Release your arms, reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a really big hug. And then walk your feet in and just keep hugging yourself for a moment. Notice which arm is on top. And then switch sides. Open up your arms and then give yourself a hug with the other arm on top. And just take a moment while you're here just hugging yourself. This could be an asana, or this could be an act of self-love, right? We could take it deeper to this personal embrace of the self, of holding. As we're in this unique time of COVID, there's a lot less physical connection with others. So just taking this in as a hug for yourself, as an embrace. And then release your arms. Go ahead and come to the floor. Oh, good. Okay. And come to the mat, middle of the mat, I would say. And come onto your back. We're going to bring the knees up to the chest and give a little hug here. And then cross your right ankle or your right knee over your left knee, just like you're sitting in a chair, cross-legged. Get that knee crossed over the other one. And then either pull your legs in a little closer to you, or if you're able to, hold onto your shins or even the outer edges of your feet, whatever is accessible. The idea is to hold onto the lower legs and gently pull them apart from each other just a little bit and inward. So we're going to get a outer hip stretch here. Okay, so uncross your legs and now bring both knees to your left and come into a twist. Looking over the right shoulder. And then engage the belly, bring the legs back up. This time cross the left knee over the right knee. Kind of nestle them in toward each other if you can. And then finding whatever version of this you can. So either just squeezing the legs in close or holding the shins or the outer feet. Gently moving the lower legs away from each other. And breathe. So just a little extra attention to those hips for those of you who are needing some lower body relief. Good. Okay, unwind those legs. Bring the knees over to the right. Take a twist. And then slowly bring the knees back to center. I'm going to have you roll to your side, come up to sit one more time. We're going to have one of our final poses is going to be one that is really hard to go far with, and so that's why we're going to practice it. So this is where you might want your blanket to sit on the edge of it. So I'm going to roll mine up just so it's probably like 2 or 3 inches thick, because sitting on a block is a little too much for me, and it might be too much for some of you as well. So you're going to sit on the edge of your blanket or towel, just right on the edge. Excuse me. So what that does is positions the pelvis slightly forward, which helps take pressure off the lower back. And we're going to bring those legs out in front of us. So if you try that and it's like, no way, this is not enough support, just go ahead and roll that thing up one more time until it feels like it's the support you need. So then we'll use our strap if you'd like to. You don't have to. And we'll use that for some support with the feet pointed up. So think of this as, this is called Paschimottanasana. It's, I believe, west side stretch. So it's supposed to stretch your whole body. So if you feel it in your back, you're supposed to feel it in your back and your legs. So we're going to pull the belly in and just start to hinge forward at first. Just hinge forward until you come to your edge. And it doesn't matter how far you go. Remember, it matters the depth of your intention and attention and breathing into it. You might lower your chin towards your chest to get into the back muscles. For some of you, you might be reaching for your feet. As you breathe, focus on expanding the back of your rib cage. So feel it really opening up with each breath. Now, coming out of this, it's really important to pull the belly in and use your hands to press you back up. And then bring your fingertips behind you. I like to have my fingertips pointed away. And then press into the floor with the fingertips and gaze upward, chest and heart open. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades together and bring them down away from your ears. So just counter stretching from that deep forward fold. Good. So we're going to use our blanket one more time, and this is just an option if you'd like to, just for a little more chest opening. So I'm gonna have mine, everyone's gonna be different. So some of you might wanna roll it a little bit. So what we're gonna do with it, I'll show you, is bring it right to where the armpits start. And then lay back. So here I definitely would prefer a block on the short setting under my head. So I'm really opening up the chest. For some of you, your bodies might not be used to being that open and it might be uncomfortable. So find a position that feels like an opening, but supportive and not painful. Because we will start to move towards Shavasana with this. You can either stay in this for Shavasana or you can move it out at some point during Shavasana. So find your blanket setup and your head support setup. And depending on how your body feels right now, some of you will lay flat with your legs straight. Some of you will keep your knees bent and leaning in toward each other with your feet spread apart. So that's what I like to do because it takes pressure off my lower back. So finding whatever position feels the most supportive to go deep with this heart opener. Knowing that at any time you can adjust your blanket or remove your blanket. When you can't go far, go deep. So I was thinking this could be for even visiting a loved one. Many of us can't travel and go places to see our friends or relatives. And if we can't go far, then we can go deep with prayer for them, with sending loving intentions toward them, going deep within ourselves to love our loved ones from afar. When we can't travel or take that vacation we were planning, we can go deep by exploring the inner terrain of our mind and our souls by meditating, by taking guided journeys inside of ourselves. When you can't go far, go deep. So make a choice if you'd like to now, whether you would like to remove the blanket from underneath you and return to your back, or whether you'd like to keep it. And whatever you decide, be very careful when you remove the blanket. Roll to your side first and just gently move up from the blanket because it's a kind of a deep chest opener, surprisingly deep. So we want to be really gentle as we move the blanket and then return to a Shavasana shape that makes sense for you today. And as your body settles in for this time of rest and integration, I'm going to read the poem again. And notice how it lands the second time, if anything is different for you. letting go of any expectations. You can also change the word God to the universe or creator, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Praise God in the depths of the universe. Praise God in the human heart. Praise God for power and beauty, for all feeling fathomless love. Praise God with drums and trumpets, with string quartets and guitars. Praise God in market and workplace, with computer, with hammer and nails. Praise God in bedroom and kitchen. Praise God with pots and pans. Praise God in the temple of the present. Let every breath be God's praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher be'ado nefesh kol chai beruach kol besarish. Praised are you, Adonai, sovereign of the universe, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind, and the breath of humankind. Begin to notice your breathing. And as you let your breathing deepen and you once again expand your awareness to your senses of touch, feeling the air on your skin, sensing the light that surrounds you through the eyes. Take your time rising up to a seated position with hands resting on your heart. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher be'ado nefesh kol chai beruach kol besarish. Praised are you, Adonai, sovereign of the universe, in whose hand is every living soul, and the breath of humankind, and the breath of humankind. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. May all beings feel peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.